All right, so I'm so excited to share with you all this wonderful, very, very special interview with Dr. Alice Jeharian. She is a beautiful young lady, very knowledgeable, quite the experience, and she was really she opened her schedule to have this talk time so that we can chat about frequencies and all sorts of interesting things. So, Dr. Alice, please share just wherever your heart goes. Please share from beginning to end and all in the middle. Love to hear.
Thank you, Temna. Before I begin, I want to thank you for having me. It's really an honor to be talking to you and your audience. And I commend you for what you do, because we need to share with the whole world what we know about science or medicine, which is my passion. And I'm glad we connected, because we can only move forward a step at a time and every day to make a difference in the world. Thank you, Temna, for having me.
Absolutely.
So let me see. I'm an aerospace engineer first, energy medicine and homeopathy consultant next, and then a science and medicine researcher third. So all of this encompasses what I love to do. I did my more than 25 years of aerospace engineering at NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory here in Pasadena, California. Planetary explorations. Come on, we've got to move beyond Earth. We know we have other planets in our in our solar system, so we'll tap into that. But then, like everyone else, we have families that we care about, we love, and we want to make their health journey as easy as possible. Now, it's never easy, and then God knows the health industry here in this country does not make it easier. So we are on our own when we want to think of the health and wellness of our families. It's very important. Now, we all have challenges. My younger son had his challenges since age 9 after vaccination side effects, and he's still suffering from it. So I had to change my mindset. I had to shift my mindset into finding alternative means of healing. So it starts with the family, then it grows into your relatives, then it grows into your community, and then it grows into a global help. So what did it take? It required a paradigm shift for it to happen. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. That's why we are here, to teach the whole world what really science and medicine is about when it comes to our health. Yes, the allopathic and conventional medicine, it's always there. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, my husband's a physician, they do what they know best. But then imagine if we come in and we in synergy work with the allopathic medicine, and then we've got the alternative medicine. I think it'll be a beautiful place, but people have to be open with it. They have to be open to receive it so that they can learn and move on. And I know we have a big community, but we just need to do one by one, step by step, in order to get there. So my journey with the alternative medicine started more than a decade ago, again, with my family. I had to find other means to help my family. So it started with homeopathy. Then I self-taught homeopathy, studied Chinese medicine. I studied orthomolecular medicine because I wanted to know it all. I've always been passionate about learning medicine, and I've had the thirst to learn and have more knowledge. And as I learned, I documented everything. And over the years, documentation grew so much that I go, oh no, I really, really have to share this. So, but we'll get to that, how it evolved into a foundation, how it evolved into bringing in like-minded people such as yourself, where we can share and ask intelligent questions, and we can learn and grow and nurture. So the knowledge that I acquired with all this documentation and delving into homeopathy medicine also led me to delve deeper into energy medicine. It is science, Temna. We cannot separate it, okay? And I usually don't bring in anything else into it because I want to approach it from a science perspective. And energy medicine, it encompasses our cellular frequencies, the vibrations, the pathology that we all take for granted as we breathe every day. Just like we take breathing for granted, which we shouldn't, because even that has its own technique when we're not feeling well or when we have an acute or chronic disease. So before I move on to the professional journey, I want to say a few things about energy medicine. Humans are electric beings. Our body is a crossover electric circuitry, right? We have elements, we've got trillions of cells, and every cell vibrates at its own frequency. Every part of our anatomy has its own frequency. It has its blueprint numerical value. If I tell you a negative thought begins at a negative 12 megahertz. Now, we don't have to think of this because it's happening naturally in the course of life and science. Death begins at 20 megahertz. Cancer begins at 45 megahertz. Do we really need to know these vibrational frequencies? No, we don't. But what we do need to know is that when our body is not at its nominal state, these frequency values will fluctuate. And in order to elicit specific responses for a subtle and tangible level, we need to tap into these frequencies and we need to shift them day by day. It's not magic. It is not magic. You and I know Einstein talked about it. Tesla, poor guy, he talked about it, but you know, it fell on deaf ears, right? But here we are, look, 21st century, and we are dealing with so many incredible devices and technologies that we can do that shift right at our fingertips. So we cannot undermine the power of the frequencies when it comes to our body's natural healing process. We know that our body is the best healing machine if we only listen to its signal. Where does homeopathy come in? Well, guess what, folks? Homeopathy is a system of medicine on its own, and it is energy medicine. Because while we're so used to taking pellets or making water doses, we're actually dealing with the energy frequency of the source, whether it's a plant or animal or mineral. That's the source. However, if anyone does not know about homeopathy, well, Samuel Hahnemann, the founder, he actually created this dilution process where he actually took molecules from the plant or the mineral or an animal tissue, and he diluted so many times that what is left is zero molecule or particle of the source, but it's energy frequency. So homeopathy and energy medicine, they go hand in hand. And that's the beauty of it, right?
Yes, I love it. So
Yeah.
how would you explain? Well, actually, let me go back a little bit. When you were
Please.
working at NASA, was there any direct, like, did you do specific work using frequencies when you were there, when you were working at NASA?
Not at all. It was not at all. It was all planetary. It was all. Now, the data that I had to monitor while we were, connecting with Earth via the spacecraft, I'm sure it had its own frequency, but that was not the frequencies that I was using as far as my work.
Right. But the appreciation of like the vibration of the planets and all of that, you had that foundation.
The timing and everything had to correlate when we're sending spacecrafts up or when we're sending manned space shuttles to land. This is all progression, Temna. But the energy medicine that I delved into after I retired was the medicinal part of it rather than the planetary source. So I had to be open. And I've always been open. But it's hard when someone does not understand and they get intimidated. Well, how do you do this? Well, how do you do that? It's really simple, and yet it's not. Just like our spacecraft used the huge antennas here on Earth in order to communicate. Well, guess what? In energy medicine and frequencies, if I want to tap into your body's frequencies, your body's DNA, the helix, double helix DNA, is the antenna that I'm tapping into.
I love that. That's such a great way of explaining. Such a great way of explaining. Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you. Yeah,
yeah,
it makes so much sense.
right.
Right.
Because, well, how do I do that remotely? Well, this is Temna. There could be another Temna somewhere in the world, but no one fits your profile. No one fits the, let's say, the height and weight of the Temna I'm speaking with, but then no one can duplicate Temna's DNA. It is unique. That's our unique signature. And that's the antenna that I am reaching out, targeting.
So when people ask you, they understand, okay, homeopathic remedies, they are sucrose pellets infused with or imprinted with frequencies, right? To
Right.
support the body. So, how would you go about explaining to them? And we all have our own bioenergetic frequency as well. How would you go in explaining them the route of, say, when you're using a frequency generator to try to find the person? How would you explain that? How do you explain that? I have my explanation.
Very, very good. And everyone, it's fair for everyone to ask that question because it's not something that happens before our eyes. It's not
Right,
something tangible
right.
for us to say, oh, that's how it happens. So we're just used to either buying the pellets, well, and now we've got the power in making it. But before I get there, my
So,
professional journey with all this, um, it didn't start right away. And because it wasn't meant to it, and it was an afterthought, let's put it this way. And with the surprising and the unanticipated or unprecedented partnership that I began with AO Solex, and I was all because of the documentation that I had, Homeopathy by Symptoms ebook. But to answer the questions, when we are really delving deep into these frequencies with homeopathic pellets, we do not pay attention to the dilution process that the manufacturer did when he created these pellets. But he had to get to that frequency required in order to make, say, a bryonia remedy or an arsenicum album, which is arsenic and its source. Now, which crazy person would actually go and take arsenic if they wanted to heal something? But you can with the pellet, right? Because the energy frequency is what's left imprinted in there after the dilution process. Well, how do we go about doing that with a remedy maker or a frequency generator? Well, that's because the blueprint value of each of those sources, it doesn't change. Just like our anatomical frequency values in our body, it doesn't change. Our kidney, our heart, our lung, our liver, our negative thought, our positive thought, each has a frequency of its own. That doesn't change. It's not something that's in an Excel spreadsheet in front of me. Go, oh, today my kidney frequency. No, unless we're suffering, then it's going to fluctuate. But that's why we have the frequency maker, the frequency scanner in our hand, so that we'll know which cellular frequency is out of balance. So when we use a frequency maker or remedy maker, and there are tons of devices out there that some you can even speak to, right? Well, that's what's going to catch the frequency. If I say arsenicum album, I am not meaning Alice Jeharian or Temna. I am meaning arsenicum album's frequency. And the blueprint is there. So when I imprint it, I cannot make a mistake. Just like me making a remote scan of Temna. I cannot make a mistake because your DNA and my scanning device is linked. We know the target, just like these pellets.
That is
So that's hard to, again, because it's not something tangible, it's hard for people to understand how am I doing that. But the work has been done for us. If we have a remedy maker, or if we have a frequency scanner, which does a lot more than making homeopathic remedies, right? We've got the cell salts in AO Solex, we've got no sods. That's going to grow over the years as our knowledge also progresses. So we can use those frequencies that are already built in the software. We don't have to remember what the value of arsenicum album or Brianna or belladonna is.
I love that. It's so true. It does not change. And
It is
that's
not.
how it
Yeah,
is. Right.
yes.
Yeah.
And the end result can be in a sugar pellet or a lactose-free pellet, or it can be a water dose. Anything that you want to consume, to take it internally or to send it remotely, or to send the frequency, to broadcast the frequency from point A to point B
I love
with
it.
no interferences in between.
I love it. Because I think what people find is the challenge of it's to fathom, like with the cell phone, you have your signature
Cell
phone
tower.
number,
Yeah,
and then there's a cell tower, and then
exactly. And the connection goes through that, right?
there you go. So
Yeah.
that's where the trying to understand the connection between, say, a frequency generator and then the person, that's where they have that they can't fathom how it attaches, or excuse me, broadcasts the frequencies, right, to
Right.
the actual person, because the person's not a device. We're used to thinking a device, right?
That's right. So, but again, because it's not tangible, it's not something they see or touch, they think it's magic, they think it's voodoo, they think it's impossible. It really is not. And that's where science background comes in. When I reach out and talk to people, I make them comfortable in understanding it is not magic. Just like when I try to navigate the spacecraft that's going to Mars and then communicate back what it sees after it lands, we actually have to communicate with the biggest antenna here on Earth in order to communicate back and forth.
Right.
Well, between me and you, I am point A, you're point B, and point B being Temna, and the target destination, your DNA is the antenna.
I love it. I love it. So would you say that just like all the frequencies of different things are known, they're established, would you say that all of the frequencies of each individual is known and established? I had someone say, "Oh, well, they must have a somebody out there, I don't know, who's out there, whatever. They must have a kind of like a list or a something that's, says Dr. Alice frequency is this, Temna's frequency is that. Is there a database? They said there's got to be a database somewhere for this frequency generator to find, and then it finds that person in that way. Again, still thinking of it more tangibly. That's what people tend to think of.
Well, it's a fair question. And when our body's cellular frequencies are at their nominal state, that value is the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That is why when these values are in a database as a blueprint embedded in a device,
Mm-hmm.
they are there to help retrieve that value back when your body is not at an optimal state.
Right.
So in order to elicit a proper response and put our body back into its optimal state, after you get signals that something is wrong with your body,
Mm-hmm.
and you might have an idea whether it's your kidney or your lung or your heart or your breathing, I will start broadcasting you those particular frequencies because I want to put your body back into that same nominal state.
There you go.
So the fluctuation is the
Mhm.
signaling of our body something is wrong. That's
Mhm.
why I always caution it. Listen to the signals that your body gives. Listen to the symptoms that are presented, which is where homeopathy's really main tip comes in. Any little symptom or signal that your body gives you, listen to it. Don't ignore it, because you are at an acute state right now. We can still get out of it, but we don't want it evolved into chronic if we left it untouched, unheard, without being able to do anything about it. So to answer your question, do these values change? Yes, they fluctuate when our body is no longer at its optimal state. We all have challenges every day, right? We go through emotional states every day. We cry if we listen to a song that took us back in memories, or we cry if a member is sick or a friend is not doing well. Okay, good. Now, those tears, that they did release some toxins, yes, but it also put our body in a very fragile state. So I must tap into it. I must say everything is okay. And here's the frequency that you need right now in order to, like, shared it in her movie, like, hey, girl, snap out of it. Snap out of it.
I love it. I love it. It's
So
so
that
true.
fluctuation, that
Yeah.
fluctuation, Tim, is the signal.
Mhm.
Listen to it, get the right frequency, broadcast it to yourself or to your loved one, and let's shift it back. And you're good.
So that's such a profound, very, it makes so much sense. It's put very simply, so then that, we all can understand, and those that are new can understand that concept. It's not a difficult concept to wrap your mind around. It might be something unique, it might be a different perspective to health, but it makes so much, it makes so much sense. So how do you figure out frequencies, as far as like how do you figure out what's too much, what's too little, as far as either in homeopathic remedies that you use, or using your frequency generator? How do you go about determining how much or how little frequencies that are supposed to be used?
Again, the body is the signal, right? The symptom that presents itself in the body, the intensity and the frequency is what I pay attention to. So with homeopathy, and many confuse that with allopathic, if I tell them, if your symptom right now is intense and severe, you may go ahead and take, whether it's the physical remedy or running a remedy through frequencies, run that every 5 minutes, run that for an hour. But then you'd get this look in their face, oh, but won't that, do something bad or side effect? No, it doesn't have side effects. And homeopathy's word of side effect is either a proving or an aggravation, both of which help us understand whether we're using the right remedy or not. So the symptom is the key. What are the symptoms, whether they're emotional or physical? And I must stress the fact here that with every physical symptom that manifests in our body, the emotional aspect of it, Temna, listen to this carefully, the emotional aspect of it has been brewing for more than 5-10 years.
Love it. Yeah.
People may find this hard to believe, but no, when I go through an emotion, I take care of it right away, or I condition my mind too, and we get pretty good at it too, because we need to pick our emotions carefully, just like we pick our battles carefully. We have to listen to which emotion really needs my attention right now and which doesn't. But whenever the physical symptom finally manifests, the emotional aspect of it has been brewing for years, which we sometimes neglect until it turns into a symptomatic value.
So we suppress it
So back
sometimes
to
just out of survival, right? You got to just suppress, keep moving forward. Some things we don't even realize that we're dealing with, right?
Exactly. And you used a very, very smart word here, survival, which we all have to do, just like our ancestors in the Stone Age. Survival was key. But then survival these days is more harmful, because the Stone Age people did it even better. They went hunting. They were out in nature. They were bare feet. They touched with nature. Here we don't. Therefore, we have to enforce it. That's why our nervous system, with the parasympathetic and the sympathetic, people's bodies are always in fight or flight mode. And I made videos on my private FB group, which we can touch upon later on, how I have 4-part series on how to put your body in parasympathetic mode, in a rest and relax mode. It's easier said than done. However, if it's a practice that you do, like breathing or stretching when you wake up in the morning, your body will listen to it. Your body will listen to it. It might sometimes fight back because it's used to being in fight or flight. But as you program it, again, let's use this word program as an aerospace engineer. We have to shift not only the mindset, but we have to shift those cellular frequencies so that we can put them in optimal state. So homeopathy and symptoms go hand in hand. Without knowing the specific symptoms, I cannot assign remedies. And being a practical homeopath, not classical, there's a difference. Classical homeopaths, they choose only one remedy for the whole system. I like to use it per system because the body works in synergy. I like to know what emotions are brewing in there, what triggered it, what happened last week, what happened yesterday, what did you eat, who did you see, what music did you listen to, what was in your mind. All these questions come to light, and even the person or my clients, when I talk to them, it brings back, oh, but wait, this is what happened. Oh, but wait, this is what I went through. And all this, when I take cases, brings my whole structure into place when I want to assign remedies or frequencies or different modalities. I don't just work with homeopathy. I work with Chinese medicine. I work with orthomolecular medicine because I believe the substances that our body naturally creates, like vitamin C or vitamin D, they always need a boost. Look, we're not getting younger. We're progressing in age, right? We are going to be deficient in things. So we need to help the body. You know, I hear people say, well, but my doctor tells me I don't need vitamins. I'm doing good. Well, God bless. I hope you stay well. But I know you're deficient. You know, the sad thing is, having studied Chinese medicine, I can do face mapping. I can read. I go, oh, Alice,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I can see which organ on it, but I'm not going to say
It's sometimes a blessing or a curse because I people watch and I get caught people watching, but
Thank
it
you.
it's just part of our nature as a
Thank
practitioner
you.
to, and then
It's
your
like,
heart yearns to say something to them. Oh my gosh, you need a colon cleanse, or your kidneys you might need to support, or you know what I mean. It's just
exactly.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's so
So we
funny.
do have to be cautious, but then a lot of people are eager to learn. So when they ask, I give them those answers. So when I do take cases, that's where I start. It's not a one page. I have 8 or 9 pages of questions that I ask. I listen to their vocal cords. I listen to their tone, the pitch. It fluctuates if it's something really sad. It's really monotonous if it's something really harmless. So all these I pay attention to before I make my deductions or evaluations and so on. When I send them my report and I give them ideas of what modalities to use. And again, not just homeopathy, there's frequencies, there's homeopathy, there's Chinese medicine, meridian targeting, and all that. It's just beautiful. It's just
Oh, I
beautiful.
love it. And all non-invasive, all natural. And the beauty,
Yeah,
so back to with the homeopathic remedies and the frequency of taking them. So would you say it would be similar to if you're using like say if you have your daily routine, but then all of a sudden you don't feel well, you're gonna have more to take and more frequently throughout the day so that it
exactly.
offsets, yeah, how you feel versus, you just on a daily basis, maybe for maintenance or something like that.
Exactly. The minute you get that signal from your body something is wrong, based on the symptom, you will know what remedy to take. And if you don't, you can ask me. You can learn. We all learn.
Hmm.
And you can start taking that as frequently as 5 minutes, every 5 minutes for the first hour. And then you reassess. Is it fading? Is it still intense? Then you continue. And then you just pay attention. So you match the frequency. By frequency, I mean the number of times you take the physical remedy to the intensity of the symptom.
I love it.
Same thing with running your frequency maker or your frequency scanner. You continue running it, say for an hour or 2 or 3, and then you pause and you reassess. How am I feeling? Is the intensity less? Okay, then I will stop running it. I will resume, say, a few hours later, because it doesn't just disappear like that. We're not that lucky. And then resume again for another 1 or 2 hours until you realize your symptoms actually faded. Then you can do it once every day.
Yeah. But wait a minute, Dr. Alice. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What you're
Go
telling
ahead.
me is I have intuition and I
Mm,
have resonance, what resonates with me, and you're empowering me to take back control of my health and being in tune with my body and listening to it and working with it. Wait, that's a whole nother concept. This is such a new concept.
yes. Not only new, but having listed all those necessities you just did, it sounds very difficult. but it isn't. When I introduce someone to frequency scanning, I tell them, what do you do when your heart palpitates? Do you panic? Because yes. What do you do next? Don't you call your doctor? Yes. What does he do? He makes an appointment for you and you come in and he puts you under these stressors here. And what does he monitor? He monitors the fluctuation waves. Well, guess what? If you have that scanner in your hand, that will tell you whether you're acute or chronic in your heart palpitations. And to top it all off, it'll also give you some idea what may trigger it, whether it's emotion or a food you just ate or a deficiency in amino acids, anything.
I love it.
So yes, you have the power. I am giving you the power so that you can begin to understand your own body and not take it for granted. Listen to its ups and downs and maintain its optimal state. You have the power. We all have the power. If we just
a great
open this up, mindset shift and a paradigm shift.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And so, that's how my partnership with Solex began. I'm sorry. That's how my partnership with Solex began when I had my ebook, again, without any intentions. It was just for me and my family. And when I was approached so that the AO scanner can incorporate part of my Homeopathy by Symptoms ebook into the scanner, you will not find anywhere where where you might find a book or two, but then the book is a tangible thing, right? It doesn't get updated. That's why I went the electronic method, because I update it often, just like I'm about to release to Solex another update with 2 new subchapters, OB-Gynopathy and the cell salt presentation that I did at DOD, Day of Discovery at Solex. So with Homeopathy by Symptoms now in this device, and if you're subscribed to it, you will really reap the benefit. You just look up the condition you're feeling and it will give you an idea of what remedies would resonate with that particular condition and symptoms. And you can scan those remedies and tells you which one resonates at the highest. And you go with that. And you can incorporate that with physical remedies or just the frequencies. Now tell me.
Changer. Game changer.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes. I love that. So now a little personal question. Here we go. You didn't expect this one. So you are obviously still a teenager. You look amazing.
We don't have it every day, right?
I'm sure it's the California sun, but I'm sure it's implementing and practicing what you preach. Can you share what's your self-care, healthcare routine?
My self-care routine. Well, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is drink my lemon water. That's something I also learned from Chinese medicine.
Yep.
Room temperature lemon water. Why lemon water? Because when you drink, everybody's going to freak out. They're going to say, no, but that's acidic. I get heartburn. Well, when you do it on empty stomach and when you ingest lemon water, it turns that acidity into alkaline and it coats the stomach lining. When your stomach is empty, it coats your stomach lining so that whatever you eat or drink during the day that might cause acidity will not be as hard. So I drink that first thing in the morning. I say my prayer. I do a 2-minute meditation. I run my body scan to see what's off today. I run and take my cell salts. I love taking my bioplasma cell salts. They work in synergy. And then I go on about my day.
I love that. Which scanner do you typically do? Do you do the easy scanner or do you do the individually? Which scanner do you like to do?
I love doing the individual. I don't use quick scan or easy scan. We're talking about the AO device now. I love to run the vitals. I love to run the body systems, but I don't do body systems or comprehensive every day. I run the vitals every day just to make sure everything's okay. But then I know everything is okay because I have no symptoms, right?
Yes. Peace of mind.
So people, I try to advise people, don't be overwhelmed. If you have this device, don't be overwhelmed. Don't bother reading the reports. Don't try. When I first read my report, I thought I was going to die.
I know.
Here's a one. Here's a red. Here's a red. Here's a. But just imagine they are so much at a subcellular level that it opens up your eyes as to what's going on, even with just opening our eyes in the morning or closing it at night. So I forgot what I was going to say.
No, so it's perfect. Self-care routine. You're not
Yes.
doing, yeah, you're not, so
Scanning,
you're
exactly.
optimizing your body, but you're not staring at the
And leave it
reports,
alone.
all the little
No,
things. Yeah, I always say,
exactly.
our bodies are 5,000-6,000 plus years old. Who knows who did what back in the day in 1855 or 603
Thank you.
BC, right? So
Thank
there's going
you.
to be a lot of
Thank you.
things that are in in that cellular, right? There's going to be a lot of frequencies that show up that you're like, wait a minute, why is this particular virus here, or why is this bacteria here, or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
So I totally agree. Just to look at them when you don't feel well, but the key is to optimize, like you're saying, that self-care routine, right?
Optimize.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. We need that calibration every
Mm.
day. So when I run the vitals, it's doing its job.
Yep.
Never mind that it's reporting there are certain things that are outstanding, but that's okay. I know I optimized and I know I calibrated my body to prepare myself for the rest of the day. Now, if I had a symptom, then I would strictly do a protocol scan for that symptom or symptoms so that I can now tap into what my body is telling me it's not doing well, whether it's through vitals, the lab work type, or whether it's one of the body systems, or it's a musculoskeletal and the comprehensive. So I will tap into those and do specific protocol scans to reach out for the symptoms that I'm feeling, or for the client. So the client has an option: is it a full body scan, or is it a protocol scan, for lack of better words, protocol symptom scan? Because
Right.
they'll tell me, well, I'm feeling this and this and this, then they'll actually tell me which part of the body is suffering right now, and I can tap into that.
I love it. Oh my goodness. That just puts
Yeah,
weights off of the shoulders to know how to use such a phenomenal tool as the AO scan, and how to implement, and not to be overwhelmed. And
not to
just
be.
that kind of, yep, system and education is really helpful for so many people to hear. And it's funny, right? We say it over and over again because we're having to shift the mindset, shift their
Yes,
perspective, shift that paradigm.
yes,
But
yes.
people are understanding and they're getting it. So that's really exciting to see. It's a beautiful
Right,
thing. Yeah.
right. And the key
So
word again that you and I both like to use is the word overwhelmed. That's one of the reasons that I wanted to bring my ebook out to the global community. You have licensed homeopaths, but then you can be a homeopath too. It's all trial and error. You go to a homeopath, they don't know you. We are our own body's doctor. We know how we're feeling. So speaking it out to them, they're going to say, well, let's try this and this and this. You
can
can
you
do that.
share? Do you mind sharing, you talking about your ebook? Please share with everyone how they can access your ebook. I would love for the world to know, because this is such a powerful tool. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And I love it that I made it electronic so that people won't have to buy volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. I wanted it to be evolving. So my ebook titled Homeopathy by Symptoms is available at Solex University, and I can share the link to that with you later on.
Yes.
Solex University, and it's part of a course because I wanted to, and you use that word, Temna, empower people to take their health into their own hand without fear and intimidation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not a fearful person. God knows that. And he
Mm-hmm.
can test me all he wants. I can break down, but I can stand up and I can empower you, and you can take that power in your hand. So my course titled Leap of Homeopathy is available at Solex University, and it accompanies my evolving ebook. So when someone purchases that course, they will now have access to any updates that I come up with that I upload to Solex, and they will make it available.
I am so stoked. That's good stuff.
Exactly. Exactly. And because it's an electronic version, and we're all somewhat computer savvy here, you can do a search for a symptom or a word that comes in your mind that you really want to find the remedies for, and it will find the multiple occurrences throughout the ebook for that symptom, and you can pick and choose the remedy that you say, oh my God, that's describing my symptom right away. Then write it down and go about it. Either take the physical remedy, or if you're subscribed with AO or any other type of frequency scanner, and just take a shot at it.
Absolutely brilliant. Do you have any
Yes.
other resources as well that you'd like to share? You had mentioned, let's see,
Yes.
what else? So yeah, go
My
ahead.
my private Facebook group, and the people who join there are like-minded people, Temna, who want to learn, and it's not just about a particular frequency device or scanning. It's about science and medicine. Anything that I research, that I find, I share, so that I open their minds and open their eyes, because it'll touch somewhere, someone, and they'll make use of it. So yes, I will share my private FB group, Quantum Agape. Agape in Greek means love. So we've got little particles of love flowing all over.
I just got chills. I love the name Agape for love. But that's a beautiful, beautiful name for that Facebook group. Oh my goodness, it's so well. And then I also would love for you to share your practice information. So if you could also share with me your practice and your information, because practitioners are so valuable and so important for people to know there's different modalities out there. There's different practitioners. And if it resonates, then hey, here's Dr. Alice, right? To me, it's just it's definitely important to have that information out there so people have it and they can have access, to you too. And you typically target, your focus is homeopathy, cell salts, no sods, for
Chinese medicine,
and then
ortho. I tap into those. Yes, when I
do you
make
have
my
a
evaluation.
do you have a general practice, or do you have a specific
It's done remotely. There's no
okay,
special clinic. Yeah, it's done remotely. And those who are members in my private FB group, they know that if they need to reach out to me for consult, they message me, and we can set up a consult, and we can take it from there, whether they choose for me to take their case. And my case taking is kind of distinguished. There's a scanning and case taking separately, and there's only case taking. It doesn't involve any scanning or frequencies. But in order to bring everyone into my world, I can't just say scanning or frequencies. I have to listen if they have symptoms, or if they have acute or chronic illness that they want to consult with me about. So they can get to me through the message by saying they wish to schedule a consult, and we can take it from there. But then when I do take their cases, they do know that what they're getting is not just homeopathy. Because of my knowledge of Chinese medicine and orthomolecular medicine, the meridian channels through Chinese and the chakras, I will have all those in my evaluation report for them to work with.
I love it.
So I do not promote just one device or one product. I am not like that. I play the devil's advocate there, because I want them to be open to what they're comfortable with, not just what I know about.
Right, exactly. Now, do you have a specialty like headaches or depression or anxiety, or I'm gotta weigh my words carefully, autoimmune or anything like, is there anything that you have a specialty working with?
It encompasses it all, Temna.
There you go. Yes.
And I often tell, and I might sound vain, which I have no intention of sounding vain. If I have the answer, I'm going to give it to you. If I don't, I'm going to research it for you.
That's right. I love it. Excellent. So I think I have all my questions answered. Just really wonderful.
Oh, that's great. I hope I touched upon everything you wanted answered, and and then that your audience and your community will make use of this beautiful time that you put in to have me on and share what you and I know best works in our world of illness all around us.
Yes, people need to know. And they need to know that there is a community of like-minded practitioners. We're in this together to help everyone so that they can change their lives, better their lives. I always say, put your health first, mind, body, spirit. Do that. Try to do that before medication, or I say before chemicals in the knife. That's the
And I
goal.
tell you, exactly. And I tell you, Temna, when we need to, we will get to them. But until then, I want people to be empowered with this
Mm,
knowledge, empowered with any device that they're comfortable with. And I do
mm,
want to mention what I am selling is not manipulation, I'm selling help. So there's
mm,
a difference between the two, right? I was never a seller.
mhm.
I still can't sell products because I'm not the type who say, no, you got to buy this, it's good. But the difference between what I sell and what others sell for other intention, I don't want to know. Manipulation versus sincere help.
Yes, exactly.
I'm
Yep.
not manipulating you into doing something that's going to be harmful for you. I'm
Mhm,
here to sell
mhm.
something to you that's going to make you feel better. Are
There
you
you go.
open for that?
I love that. I love that.
Any
And it's
which
their
way.
choice. Yes, it's their
Yeah.
choice. Again, I really am so grateful. I'm gonna send a massive hug from North Carolina all the way to California.
California.
I love California. I went there one time and I really felt like it was my journey. Yes, I felt like it was like it was meant for me to stay there. But
Oh,
yeah, I was this close to moving out there, and then I had circumstances. Actually, I ended up meeting someone, and I stayed here in North Carolina. So, but
well, let me
I
know if you're in California next time.
I
I'd
totally
love to
will.
meet you.
I
Yes,
totally
yes.
will. Yes, I totally will. Okay, thank you so much once again, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you very